Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Tej, and today I'm gonna be showing y'all how to make some trap ballad beats for a Lil Baby, similar to Chi Chi in Section 8. It's gonna be similar to a couple of their songs on Voice of the Heroes, where they use some piano and guitar melodies to create a more emotional vibe, but it'll still have kind of those harder hitting drums. And I'll be breaking down both the melody and the drums, and I'll be showing y'all how I did all those. As always, I'll have the full beat at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that. And without further ado, let's just hop right into the beat. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show y'all the full melody, and I'll go in and break down and show y'all how I made each individual part. So my final exported melody sounds something like this. Alright, so before I hop into the actual melody and MIDI and whatnot, I want to discuss the BPM real quick. So the BPM for this type of beat would probably lie between the 85 to about 100 beat range, and I opted to do double time instead. So if I did this in normal time, it would be 97 beats per minute, but instead I double timed it, and that's why I have 194 BPM. So for this, the range would probably be from about the 170 to 200-ish range, somewhere in there. Going to my first melody, the first plugin I got was Addictive Keys, and we got the normal Studio Grand preset. And I went in and I just laid out a few chords in D sharp minor. So we got something that sounds a little something like this. And I threw that into the mixer and put some RC20 on it. And I have the wobble just up a little bit, turn the space up and decay up a little bit, and then I put the low cut to about 200 or so hertz just to kind of cut out some of those lower, more percussive key sounds. And I went into an EQ, again, put a low cut on it, cut out some of the low mids and mids, and a little bit of the highs. I cut out the highs for some harshness, and I cut out the mids just to give room for some of the other elements. And then I opened up a reverb and I turned the wet up a little bit, and that's pretty much all I did. The next melody I added is kind of like a basic arpeggio. All it is just notes in the D sharp minor scale that I just decided to make a melody. And the reason why the notes are kind of overlapping, if the notes aren't overlapping with each other, they kind of sound choppy. So I opted to keep it like this. And this is what we got with our chords. And the pattern is just the first two measures and just copied for the full 8. And I threw the same RC20 preset that I had on the other one. And so how I did that is I went to this one right here, click this little down arrow next to RC20, and then click Save Preset As, and then click and hold and drag it and drop it onto the next mixer channel, and that'll give you the same exact preset and everything. Then I put a low cut on it just to cut out some of the, and another EQ, then cut out some of the mids and high mids to leave some room for other elements, and cut out some of the highs to get a little bit of harshness out. And then for my last piano sound, I went into Key Zone and got this Yamaha Grand Piano preset, and I just laid out the bass notes for this. And I have them octaved, and the lower octave notes are down in velocities. And for effects on that one, just put a low cut at about 100 hertz just to cut out some of the muddiness in there. And at this point, this is where I recorded the guitar. I went to the mixer and I went to Guitar Rig, and I got this hot solo lead preset, and I recorded my guitar on top of what I had with my loop. With a little bit of chops and editing, this is what my guitar loop sounds like. And if I zoom in here, you can kind of see it has these kind of like crossfade marks. And how you get those is you go into the audio clip, so you can double click on it in the playlist and go to this drop down box right here next to declicking mode and select generic bleeding. It It'll give you a smoother feel for the audio clip. That way it doesn't kind of clip in and out. So now we got our new FLP. This is where I did the drums. So I'll break down everything that I did. So the drum kit that I ended up using was this Chi Chi Section 8 drum kit that I got off of Reddit. I'll leave the link for that in the description, but pretty much all the drum sounds I used were from that. So starting off the drums, we got pretty basic clap pattern. And in this FLP, I slowed the tempo down to 183 BPM. Next, I added this hi-hat pattern. I actually had it in a different, something that looks a little something like this. So I didn't add too many notes. I didn't want to go too fast and make it too overpowering to the point where it got kind of annoying throughout the song, but just enough to where it took up enough space. And so most of the bounce that kind of comes in this pattern is through the change in velocities and some of the rolls and how those are arranged. So most of the rolls that I have here are using the 1/3 step setting under the magnets, and pretty much most of the rolls have velocity rolls to them. See, these are being rolled up. A few are being rolled down. Next thing I did is I had an open hat pattern. I got this open hat sound and I put an envelope on it, and with what we got so far, this is what it sounds like. And I kind of did this trick in a previous tutorial video, but I'll show y'all again. I took the same exact open hat sound and I right clicked on it, click clone, and I got a new open hat, and it's reversed. Reduced it in length and turned the in a little bit so it kind of like swells into the next one, and I put this on my 3rd open hat. Next I added my snare pattern. It hits with the clap, so it kind of sounds a little harder, and it's just a pretty basic snare pattern. And then I just have this roll right here. And for this beat, I had 2 different 808 patterns. The first one is a little more basic. The second one kind of has a alternating roll at the end of it. It's just using this boosted spin sound. And all it has is just these 1/3 beat rolls at the end of it. So our pattern kind of sounds like this in context. My other 808 pattern sounds a little something like this. There's just an extra little roll right here. Some of the spacing's a little different, and I have some that kind of go higher in pitch up here. So and then lastly, just added a kick to accentuate some of that bass in 808, and this is what we got. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for me. As always, thank y'all for watching the video. If y'all want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like. Check out my Instagram, link will be in the description, or at beatsbytej. Leave a comment, let me know what you'd like to see me do next. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got, so I'll see y'all later.
Yo, Tej, what's up?